let's go for it.
Right.
Uh,
Is to continue in the meeting, you have to agree that you're being recorded. So if everybody agreed? Yes? Okay.
I think you have to, yeah, it lets
Yeah.
you know immediately.
Well, it does individually. I can't tell for any of you. I could only tell for myself. So, okay, so it's now 3:02. And I'm gonna call this special business meeting to order. And the purpose is to discuss any updates in mask policy and what's permitted. And I know Dr. Gianni, you were reaching out to council, and you also gave us a copy of a document from the school board, or rather the superintendent's advocacy group. Do you have any update?
No, I do not. In fact, I saw what came out from the Superintendent's Council, and it's basically identical to the advice I received from our council. And that is that NYSBA had been in contact with the governor's office, who indicated they intend to change the New York State guidance on Monday. The DOH letter was a letter to the CDC to notify them of their intent to change the current guidance, and is now waiting for reasons why they should not. The governor's office is aware of the mess that the notice in the media caused. However, indicated that until such time we have been notified in writing, the current guidance stays in place. So, and I think that's basically what you saw in the email that I received from the Superintendent's Association that I forwarded just moments ago.
And it also made reference to advice of counsel for other superintendents that go along with what the advice our council had given, which is you need to follow the guidance. Is that a correct understanding?
Yes, that is the understanding, and that is what Mr. Sheehan shared with me. I spoke to him early this morning, and I reached out to see if I can get him on this call, but he had not responded, so he's not going to be here.
So what I'm wondering is this: we're in a state of flux right now because officially there's been no change in any guidance or any of the operating procedures. But everybody's got their fingers crossed that come Monday, there will be a change. What are your feelings about determining from the board whether or not a change could be made if a couple of things fall into place? And one would be that there is a change in guidance. And the other thing to fall in place is getting stakeholder input to change the current policy. And I could see how that, if we did that today, it might mean we don't have to wait till Wednesday to deal with this. I don't see how removing masks on Monday can be approved today, given the guidance and advice of counsel.
Yeah, agreed. And I guess the biggest thing would be the challenge of stakeholder input, but that's something, I think we can do now, right? Pending approval. So I don't have a problem putting something out to that regard. But absent the guidance, I'm not willing to change anything until we get something in writing.
And I'm not comfortable in approving it. I think that puts us in a very bad precedent for going outside what the rules and regulations are that guide us as a district. We don't get to pick and choose which ones we agree with. If we don't agree with them, there are advocacy ways to change them. The situation here is, the time pressure. There's not time for advocacy. So we have to deal with what is in place right now. And again, the hope is that on the higher level on Monday, it's going to become clear what the guidance will be. So hopefully as early as Tuesday, there might be a revision. We have the revision in place if we already give you the approval to go ahead with stakeholder input and confirmation from the state about what we can do. Melissa?
Do you anticipate hearing something tomorrow, considering what happened on Friday?
What do you mean by tomorrow? We're doing something tomorrow.
I said, do you anticipate hearing something from
no.
tomorrow, by tomorrow?
No, I don't think so, because the letter that Zucker wrote to the CDC said they plan to change on Monday unless they hear there's reason not to. So he kind of gave the CDC a pretty quick turnaround, and over the weekend, no less. So I don't anticipate anything happening before Monday.
Okay.
And if it happens on Monday, we're already into the day before we'll have notice. So the earliest that I could see any change on our end would be Tuesday. And that's assuming everything falls into place the way we hope it will.
Agreed.
So can we put out something to our stakeholders? I'm sorry, I'm on my phone, so I don't see everybody. So I didn't mean to jump in.
No, go ahead.
Can we put something out to our stakeholders and to our community, showcasing what we're discussing today or early tomorrow? I mean, I do understand that it's a weekend, and he definitely put us in a very bad situation. All districts, not just South Country, obviously. So I'm hoping that we can communicate to the community and maybe start to survey our stakeholders. I think that would be pretty simple. I'm sure Wayne could put something out, and administration could put something out to the community, and then kind of go from there. Obviously, it's not going to be a very long amount of time for a turnaround, but again, we've been put in a very awkward situation.
Chris, I see your hand, but may I make a suggestion? And that would be, if you're seeking stakeholder approval, do it kind of the way the state did to CDC.
Yeah,
and say, if you have any opposition to the change in mask policy, then let us know. Because for all the people that want us to get rid of masks, they're already out there bombarding us. So if I think also like a robocall to let them know, and then maybe even posting the statement from the Superintendent's Association with the advocacy explanation in it, because it clearly states the current requirements are exactly what we have in place. Okay, Chris.
So the last line in Zucker's letter, the last sentence, we plan to make this guidance effective Monday. Not that we're going to change it Monday. It's effective Monday pending hearing anything from the CDC before Monday. So I don't see that there's the slightest bit of risk to saying the same thing. Our plan is to change the mask mandate if the board agrees, effective Monday, unless we're told otherwise. If it's going to change, right? Zucker gave to your point, gave them an ultimatum. Tell me by Monday or I'm doing it. Okay,
Basically,
so
I see another way to read that sentence though, which would be that on Monday, Zucker's gonna issue guidance saying, here's the change.
But it says the guidance is he said, we plan to make this guidance effective Monday, June 7th. I could understand if you put a time on it, but it says, so as far as I'm concerned, we're covered from any liability because the guidance is changing Monday unless they tell us it's not, which means we should hear something Sunday if things don't change. So we were able to get stakeholder input in a day to change, the requirements for attendees at sports. I mean, there's no reason, in my opinion, that this can't be effective Monday morning, based on everything that's written in here, and based on a fact that at this point, a third of the schools in Suffolk County have changed guidance effective Monday morning. So the state has basically just said, we're telling you we're changing it. The Suffolk County executive issued a letter to the governor last week urging him to change it. So I don't see how there's the slightest bit of risk. I could understand if we were in November, but with the positivity rate below 1% and everything that we are, and the number of vaccinations and everything else, I think it's about time we're proactive versus reactive, and we make this change. And as far as stakeholder input goes, I think we all got enough emails that can qualify as stakeholder input in the last 2 days. So
Gina, I see your hand. Hold on a second. I just wanted to say that when you talk about you don't see any liability to us or here, I don't see it that way, because I see that the liability to us is potentially taking a position that's not permitted by current state of guidance and rules and regulations. And that is not a slippery slope I want to go down. And so what Chris, we're talking about 1 day.
No, but you know what? It's 1 day is 1 day, 2 months. We're talking about 15 months. And the point is, it says the guidance is changing on Monday. It says it's in the last sentence. I don't see how.
But it hasn't been done until Monday.
Correct. So I think we can pass a resolution that says it will be effective Monday morning for us, pending any additional notification from the state, because they're saying right here, Monday, it's effective. The guidance has changed as of Monday.
Okay, I'm going to play devil's advocate.
But
what if we do that and then the guidance is not effective? Then we're outside the guidance.
Change it, but it'd be nice if we were.
How are you going to change it back when you've already said that? So I want to go to Gina. It's her turn. Gina's turn.
Thank you. My concern with changing anything today without knowing what's going to happen Monday is that you're going to have a storm full of students come in without masks, not knowing that there was a change. And I'm fine with changing it right now. Like if it was in effect, I would be fine saying no masks, but I think it's going to cause more chaos between the community if we say yes, and then all of a sudden at the 11th hour, we say there's no change. That's going to even cause more upheaval. So I just think that we need to tread lightly. 1 day, really, Monday to Tuesday is not going to make a huge difference. And to be correct, all those this happened 3 weeks ago, and all those districts that went saying no mask, they had to retract it. So I would rather just not have to retract something and go for it, because we're going to look dumb and we're going to have mass chaos, and we're going to have students showing up without masks. We're going to have teachers with discipline issues with these kids. I would rather just keep it until it's actually changed. And I'm fine with getting rid of it, but I just don't think we just need to pump the brakes a little.
Melissa?
My concern is that come Monday morning, one, without giving input out to not only our faculty, our staff, and our administrators, but our community, we are going to have people coming in without masks. The media has made that very clear. And then that puts us in a very difficult situation. What are we doing? Are we now reprimanding these students, sending them home? Like, what are we doing? We are then taking these students and we're putting them in a very bad situation. If we do choose to go the route of saying, okay, effective Monday, one of the things that I'm very adamant about is that our administrators do make a morning announcement in reference to judgment amongst students, because we are already seeing it with adults, to ensure that if this comes into play, that there is no judgment whether students are wearing masks or not wearing masks. Whether we realize it or not, this conversation is already happening with the students, and it's causing a great deal of anxiety amongst the students already, because this is starting to come out. So however we put it, we need to make sure that we really equip our staff for what Monday morning is going to bring. And that's why I push definitely for our meeting, because frankly, Monday morning, is going to be, and excuse my language, a shit show. And I think we can all attest to that. So by us not saying something to the community and to the faculty, we are just adding fuel into that fire. And it's really, it's not fair to our staff, and it's not fair to our community.
Okay. Cameron, I saw your hand, and then I wanted to say something on top of what Alyssa said.
Yeah, I actually, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
I actually agree with Gina. You know, I think it's the what ifs that are in the air are they're too much for me. I'd rather you know, the CDC or the governor's office say, you know, officially, you know, we're rolling back the mask mandate, and then we can move from there. You know, it's only a couple of days, as was just said. And I want to make sure that what we do it correctly with the least, you know, amount of retractions that we may have to make. But I'm not clear on what Dr. Johnny's recommendation is when it comes to, you know, whatever action he's recommending or not for this meeting.
Well, I
So if
didn't
he
call the
could-
meeting, but I'll tell you what my recommendation would be. My recommendation will be to
Yeah.
follow the guidance.
Okay.
It is not my recommendation to do something prior to the guidance is received, because
Okay.
that's just going to get me in trouble, and it's going to get the board in trouble, and I'm not looking for any trouble.
Can I
Mhm.
offer an off-the-wall suggestion? Why don't we go all remote on Monday? It gives us till Tuesday.
I'm not available Monday. Oh, you mean all remote Monday for the kids?
Yes,
It's too late. It's too late to
Yeah.
even consider that. The parents would be not available, not prepared.
oh, well, I just wanted to toss it
Listen,
out
I
there.
think I want to try to sum one thing up. Everybody has spoken, but Ms. Felice, it looks like everyone is intending to go with the guidance if it does come. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay, so that's one thing out of the way.
Can I just say
it's
something
one
about
thing done.
I'm sorry. I just want to say that I really would like a caveat in our policy that if we go to 3% infection rate, that we implement the mask again, because this is the same pattern that happened last year, where hopefully we won't get where we were last November, but once the holidays hit and once everybody's indoors again, and if people do not get vaccinated, we're going to have the same situation as last year. So my suggestion to the board is that's fine if the number is under 3%. I'll be fine with that. My son's going to wear a mask no matter what. But I think that we should have this caveat and make it known now. So when September rolls around and the numbers go up, we don't have parents saying, I can't believe you're making my kid wear a mask after all these months without a mask. Like,
what would that 3% be based on, though? Because we
I would
can't.
say,
It's got to be the county. It can't be the district. We don't have numbers.
yeah, we don't have those numbers. So I would say like either the county or the town, the 3%, whatever it is, but we know that this could happen depending on how this, I mean, I feel like a lot of people who aren't vaccinated yet aren't getting vaccinated. We're not at 80% yet. If we were at 80%, that would be a totally different situation, but we could still have and put our students and faculty in jeopardy come November, December. So I just want it known, like, I don't want to go backwards. I just want everything to be crystal clear for the community that it is our intent to keep everybody safe and that the mask can come back like that. Like, I don't want to hear this. I don't want to be in the same situation again. And I think that we should have a specific number in our policy now. I'm fine. It's 0.5% now. I don't care if we don't have masks right now. However, it could get bad fast, and we've seen it before. We were almost at 10%, you know, like I don't want to do this again where it could be bad. So I just would like the board to consider that. And then
Is that something we can do later? Because it's going to be a little bit of a challenge. I don't know where to get that number exactly. I don't know, you know, I don't want to be able to write something and then not be sure of it, because I do plan on writing to the community whatever we decide here, so we don't have a mess on Monday.
can we just put it for the remainder of the school year? and not commit to September or anything?
Yeah, I honestly, I think we're going to be redoing everything come new September anyway. You know, I think this would be effect for the remainder of the school year and into the summer, for the summer programs as well.
That's fine. All right, I'm fine with that, as long as we know going into any reopening plans for September.
Yeah,
I have that caveat.
we're going to be talking much further regarding opening September, I'm sure.
Are
Okay.
you
But-
gonna
Chris,
be, are
I
you
see your
gonna-
hand. I'm sorry, Chris. I just want, you said letter. Can we make sure that a robocall goes
Yeah,
out
no,
as well?
I'll do both.
Okay, I'm sorry. I
do-
saw
I'm
your
gonna
hands,
do a
Chris.
letter
I
and a
just
robocall.
didn't want that to escape.
I'll do
Yeah, I
both.
just-
Sometime
my
today,
point
though. I'm not going to
before
get it right out.
That I
I'll
think
get it out.
needs to be discussed is the fact that the outrage in the community, if this is an effective Monday morning, is going to be far greater than if something changes Tuesday or Wednesday.
I'm going to try.
Well,
and
that-
I'll-
Telling you right now, it's going to be, you're already seeing it. It's going to be a shitstorm if this isn't effective Monday. And again,
that's
I'm
not
just-
us,
I understand
Chris. That's
some
not
parents
us. It's
aren't-
the
yeah.
state.
It's not, but the state said it. It's the last line. The guidance is effective Monday, unless the CDC says no. It's clear. I don't see how it's read, and I don't see how it's interpreted any differently. It doesn't say we're going to issue guidance on Monday. It specifically says guidance effective Monday, June 7th, unless the CDC says something different. I mean, I don't understand how that's not clear. So again, we're constantly behind. I mean, a third of the districts, and I
No,
get
we're not
the
constantly.
issue, Ann, come on, please. I don't interrupt you, please. The issue with the other districts, with Comac and everything else, that's greatly different than what we're dealing with here. The state and the county have signaled their intent to change the mask mandate for kids. Kids never spread this virus from day one. Things have changed from back in the fall. So to sit here and say it's just another day, when I don't think anybody here has kids in school dealing with it, I mean, I really think it's dismissive of what kids are going through and what the feedback we're getting. And I know it's not all, and I know some kids deal with it better than others, but at the end of the day, it should be a choice for families and kids. And let's face it, parents are sending their kids to school Monday without masks, whether we like it or not. That's a guarantee. And there's no discipline, from my understanding. There's nothing we can do about it. So we're better off making this change.
We have a
So
different policy for masks. That's the parents doing wrong, and not.
regardless, I'm not saying it's right or wrong, it's
Exactly.
gonna happen.
That's on the parents, not us as a school board following directions. And there better be discipline if those kids come in without masks. They should be getting a phone call home for a pickup. And I expect that out of administration. And if there's not, then there's an issue. That's even a bigger issue.
Cheryl?
Thank you. Just to retract what Gina said and what Cameron followed up with, and certainly what Ann said about we don't want to find ourselves in a position where we have to retract. And I do support if the guidelines are going to say no mask, I support it. I think we're there. I think what we've done has gotten us to this point, but I also think we have to watch that we don't go backwards. And we already have seen a past practice where districts entered into a policy that they later had to retract. We don't need to do that. This is not only one day. If the word unless was not in the letter, then we would have an absolute, but we don't have an absolute with what we have in front of us right now. I do think, and I appreciate that that there was a push to have a meeting today, because there will be some chaos at the school on Monday if they don't hear from us this weekend. And that's why we're here today. And Chris always seems to sign off when I'm speaking, but nevertheless, I listen to him, I watch him, and he's not there.
Okay, let's not get into back and forth about the.
I'm responding to that. Did you want to see me eat my lunch? I listened to everything you said. And plenty of other people shut their camera while others are speaking. So to attack me in a meeting like that is incredibly inappropriate.
Can I go back?
We have the
I
storm
think
we
that,
have
I
right
think
now.
that we basically have,
That was unsolicited attack. It was inappropriate.
let's go back to the purpose of this meeting. And that is to see what, if anything, we can do to deal with the situation that we've been put in because of the state and the CDC and frankly, the newspapers. So I think that if the plan would be that we're all on board with the revised guidance that we anticipate from the state, whether you consider it effective first thing Monday morning or to be put into effect on Monday, if that's okay with us, provided that there is some stakeholder input, and we've talked about a way to keep us from being bombarded with people who don't want the mask. We already know that. I think what we just want to say, if you oppose the change, let us know. And you do a robocall and something in writing so that the families are put on notice about what our plan is. So, you know, our anticipated time frame would be to get confirmation on Monday with the hope and expectation that it will be implemented Tuesday. And I think if we do that, we've accomplished a lot today.
And to your point, Chris, I do have a child in school, just so that you're aware, when you made that comment, I do have a child that is in school.
And can I just add
Not in
something?
elementary school.
This is a little bit off topic, but I did see in some comments about the outdoor concert at the middle school today. And one of our residents in Bellport Village, who does have children in the school, commended us for being careful and cautious about how we've proceeded and how we've handled it. You know, recognizing that there have been problems in other districts, like you've commented about, ones who've changed things and then had to go back, or districts that have had big outbreaks that required closing buildings. So we haven't had that. So we did get complimented by somebody with regard to that. So
Well,
are
just
we
on
in
that
a
point,
position
Mr.
where we
Burr,
can take
On
a
that
vote
point,
on
Ms.
how?
Hayes, can I capitalize on your comment? Because another parent went to Facebook and complained that their seat had to be moved to accommodate a board member.
And I
So-
addressed that on Facebook to that
Yeah,
parent.
Yeah,
I addressed that to that parent. And actually it was their seat was moved from Mr. Frankie. First of all, being at the middle school event, and Cheryl and Cameron were there with me as well. I was there typically when I come anything for my child, I come as a parent. This time, with everything going on with the board, I came as a board member, watching my child. So Mr. Frankie did call and say that there was reserved parking for board members, which some board members in the past have taken advantage of. I did not take advantage of that. In fact, when he said that there were seats up front, any board member that came there just sat where there was an open space. And I do believe for Mr. Frankie, he really was showcasing all of the hard work that the students have done and the teachers have done. It was a phenomenal day. It was beautiful. In fact, Cheryl and I spoke about it. The fact that it was an outdoor concert really just, everyone was just very relaxed and happy. And you know what, frankly, some people had masks on and some did not. And it was a phenomenal, phenomenal day. So I did address that person on Facebook because frankly, I'm done with social media and people coming and attacking board members on social media. So I addressed that individual, as did I address the individual who decided to say that we were going to wait until Wednesday. So that problem was solved. Oops.
Are we in a position to take a motion and a vote to give some guidance to the superintendent? And
Okay, so
Dr.
I
Gina.
drafted a real quick resolution to, you want to hear it?
yes, please.
Okay,
Please.
to authorize the superintendent to modify the reopening plan to reflect new guidance received from state and local authorities.
Provided, should we put in provided
Provided,
that there is no state, that, you know, input from stakeholders has been
favorable?
favorable. And do we want to do we want to clarify that what we're expecting is basically a definitive statement from New York State or New York State DOH?
I think that, doesn't that say it? New guidance received from the state and local authorities. Want to say in writing?
I like in writing.
I
I
think
think that's
that
very.
to be issued or new guidance to be
To reflect new-
because as of right now, they've just said, this is what we intend to do, but it's not been issued. So new guidance to be issued. Would that take care of it?
Authorize the superintendent to modify the reopening plan to reflect new guidance issued by state and local authorities, provided input from stakeholders is favorable.
I think it should be guidance to be issued.
I
there's
like
not
that is
technically-
issue.
To be issued. Okay.
Technically, it's not issued as of right now.
I
But-
object
but
to
that
the
would give him a-
guidance. I object to
but-
that statement. I don't
Well,
think it's-
let's just hear it.
Excuse me?
I
No,
object.
you're saying that the guidance to be issued, and I'm just making it clear that I object to that portion of the statement because it says it is effective Monday. So-
Okay,
So we could read it different ways we want, but I don't agree with that statement.
okay,
Reread.
yep,
Authorize the superintendent to modify the reopening plan to reflect new guidance to be issued by state and local authorities, provided input from stakeholders is favorable.
okay. Now it will be new to be issued, the new guidance regarding mask requirements.
New
Right.
guidance regarding mask requirements to be
And I
issued.
would clarify with indoors and outdoors as well. I would just put that in there as well, for indoors and outdoors.
Wouldn't that, don't you think that'll be included in the issue though?
I do, but I think that if this is something that we're putting out to the community,
No,
sometimes, you know.
I'm
you're
looking
just doing
for a
this as a
vote for
resolution?
giving me authority.
Oh, okay, I
yeah.
apologize. I thought you were starting to create this as
No,
part
no,
of your
I'll
letter
write-
to the
I'll-
community.
Yeah, I'll write something. Authorize the
Okay.
superintendent to modify the reopening plan to reflect new guidance to be issued regarding mask requirements by the state and local authorities, provided
What,
input from stakeholders is favorable. That's a lot now.
yeah, but the words are not in the right place.
Yeah,
Go back, new guidance regarding masks to be issued by state and local authorities.
But doesn't to be issued give him the authority to change the plan before guidance is actually issued? No?
It's conditioned upon,
it's conditioned
it
on
again, you
receiving
folks.
it.
Say it again?
conditioned upon receipt of the guidance
Hmm.
and conditioned upon stakeholder input.
You know, the guidance has been issued. The question is when it's effective, because there are 4 bullets in the letter that say what the changes will be. That's the guidance. Your question is when it's effective. So I think the language is wrong.
But we don't want to, we don't want the administration to be in the, never mind. Can you just read again, Dr. Gianni? I'm
Yes, I'm
sorry.
gonna try to, I got this all over, so I'll try. Authorize the superintendent to modify the reopening plan to reflect new guidance regarding masks to be issued by the state or local authorities, provided input from stakeholders is favorable. I think that
Gives you the flexibility. And also, as we get more information from the state and advice of counsel as to how early on Monday or as late as Tuesday we need to go. It puts that ball in your court. And I'm comfortable with that because I heard you say that you would not be recommending doing anything that goes outside existing guidance. So to narrow the question of when is the guidance existing, it does give the flexibility for you to review that, you know, on Monday or whenever it comes out. And if need be, consult with counsel about it and, you know, copy the board in if there's any issue.
Okay,
So-
I think we need a motion for that.
Yes,
What I
we
just
do.
read.
Is there a motion to approve the resolution? Gina's made the motion, a second. I think I saw Miss Felice or, yes, Miss Felice, second. So I need all in favor.
Discussion first?
Oh, yes, thank you for saying that.
No worries. I just would like it noted that I object. I'm going to vote in favor, but I object to the language in the resolution. I believe we've already received guidance and there's no reason we cannot begin this guidance on Monday pending any change to the state's dialogue with CDC as of then.
Okay, your statement is noted. Okay, all in favor? It's unanimous. All 6 members present and voting have given that approval.
I do believe that we're going to be hearing something in districts because I think this is obviously not a situation that is just specific to South Country. Since there is such a buzz on it, I do believe that districts will be hearing something come tomorrow. Again, it's not ideal, but I do believe that we will hear something come tomorrow. So if we have to put out a second, you know, statement to the public come tomorrow, you know, I could be wrong, but I can't imagine that they're not getting backlash from all parties about this.
Well, if I get something, you know, I'm gonna send something out to advisory later today, and let them know to respond ASAP. And then as soon as I get something, I'll send a second thing out. I have no problem making it good to go on Monday if we get the good to go.
Okay, thank you.
But I think, you know, we should make it clear though to the community that masks are still in the buildings, period. Or like, period. So I think we gotta really drive home that message.
Yeah, so it's like until further notice, that's still the requirement come Monday morning. And, you know, and
Absolutely.
then administratively, you'll take into account what Gina said about how to deal with anticipated objectors. So,
That'll be in my letter.
all right. Thank you so much. And thank you, everybody, for being in on the call.
All right, thank you all. Have a good weekend.
You too.
Is there, I make the motion.
Oh.
Thank you for doing
Don't
that.
forget.
Okay,
Oh.
is there a motion to adjourn? And Mr. Trent made the motion and I saw 3 other hands trying to make the second. I'll pick Mr. Pacini, give him the last word there. So now all in favor of adjournment. There are 5 of us because Melissa had dropped off. So we're now adjourned.
Good
Thank
night.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.